the show here. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Digital Scholar. A lot of you are watching on the Facebook group, and also we are live streaming on different platforms. This session is all about understanding landing pages on a deeper level, directly from the founder of Swipe Pages. So let me introduce you to the founder, who is Mr. Swaminathan Ganesan. He was the manager director of Brand Exponent Creatives. He founded the company in 2011, and it was a creative agency. He also ventured into the WordPress theme development and launched his first product in 2013. By the end of 2014, he launched Oshine, which became one of the top selling, best selling WordPress themes of all time. He also served more than 35,000 happy customers and Envato Hall of Famer, and then sold the company on a high. And since then, since it's been almost 1.5 years or almost 2 years, he founded Swipe Pages, which is sweeping the market right now because of all the amazing features that it has to offer. So welcome to the session, Swami. I'm so excited to host you.
Hello. Hi, Rishi. Thank you so much for the great introduction. I'm really honored to be here. And it's good evening to all the participants here.
Amazing. So, Swami, we at Digital Scholar dedicatedly use Swipe Pages. We learn in and out of it, almost spend about 6 to 12 hours on it. You know, we just want to understand the background first on why Swipe Pages and how did you come up with the idea, and what was the need of another tool in the market?
Okay. So I just have to go a bit backward and tell you from the story when I was actually a part of the WordPress business. So between 2014 and 2020, I launched some really successful WordPress themes and plugins. And we served about 35,000 customers at that point in time. So over the course of time, what we had was an access to a wealth of data, and we had requests pouring in from customers for various things, which kind of helped us understand the trends. And one thing that we noticed was that a majority of the traffic started to come from mobile devices, and that people were spending a lot of time creating their website. The whole idea of creating all these plugins and themes were to help them launch these websites really quickly. But it, on an average, took them between 8 to 12 weeks to go ahead and fully launch their website. And some of the reasons were that they had to learn about hosting, domain registration, all these plugins, connecting, solving all these inter-compatibility issues, solving PHP configuration issues, and performance optimizations, image compressions, and so many other things that they had to do by themselves. And most of these guys were creatives or small business owners themselves. They were not designers or developers. So the whole idea of them using a platform like WordPress and purchasing a theme was to be able to set a website up by themselves. But the fact that it took so long for them to come up with an output, and more importantly, the trends were really clear. Traffic was shifting towards mobile, and most of the websites that were built were desktop first. They had all these fancy features, tons of animations, lots of things that were only making the experience of an end user bloated, pretty slow. And the number one request that we used to get from our customers were, how do we optimize the website for performance? So how do I get a better page speed score on Google? So this is something that came up really frequently. But the answer to it wasn't fairly straightforward, because a lot of people were using really cheap hosting. So like you have hosting which is available for $1.50. And so that kinds of like puts the brake. It's like the engine of your car. So if you have a really slow engine, how are you going to be able to go fast, irrespective of how the code and the theme or the plugins are optimized? And then you had to install like several plugins to be able to get the job done. Right. So you needed a theme for the way in which your website looked. Then if you wanted to capture leads, then you would have a form plugin in there. If you wanted to compress your images, you would have another plugin in there. If you had to optimize your code, you would have to add another plugin in there. All these plugins are like add bloat to the whole experience. And the whole system was broken because you're building all these websites, taking 8 to 12 weeks to launch them. And finally, they're not optimized and it's not effective. So what's the point? So the whole idea is that people had to build something that is effective. People had to focus on their business skills and their business results as such. So it was kind of contradictory to the whole idea of why we were into that space. We wanted to add value to the whole system. We wanted to help people and entrepreneurs become successful on the web by building their online presence. But we weren't really helping them. So, and that is when the idea kicked in of and we were also realizing that websites didn't really convert. So they were like a visiting card. You really needed one, but they didn't do any, they didn't really get you any business as such. So if you wanted to have any leads, if you wanted to like get online and start your business right away, what you should be doing is like coming up with a single page, which is like a landing page, start running ads because that delivers results really quickly. All other marketing channels are like SEO, for example, is a long-term strategy. And if you wanted to see results, you needed to come up with a single page that is mobile optimized, and you don't have to like bother about code optimizations, themes, or plugins. None of the businesses out there, you don't have to bother about hosting or CDN. All of it taken care of. So that was the idea behind Swipe Pages. So we wanted to come up with a platform with which entrepreneurs could just, if you wanted to start today, be able to spin off a landing page and start your business online within a day. Not worry about anything, just focus on your business. So, and we wanted to build something that was really easy to use and that was fast and mobile optimized.
Perfect. And it does what it says, because we have seen that it's super fast, it's mobile optimized, and a lot of focus is on the mobile channels here. Now, before I ask you some questions about landing pages, how do you recognize yourself as an entrepreneur? Are you a developer, or you are a good project manager? I mean, how do you recognize yourself as?
I would recognize myself as an entrepreneur
Okay.
because I've always been generating ideas.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't say I'm the best developer. I have got a great team. And I would consider myself to be an entrepreneur. But I obviously know to code. I've designed, so I actually designed my WordPress themes and plugins, and then I built a team around it. And now I'm really focused on marketing and sales more than anything else. So uh,
Right. And how big is your team, Swami?
so we have a team of 8.
Amazing. Now, a lot of people here, it's easier to build landing pages today. It's just templates, and you guys provide all the templates which are high converting already, so people can just plug and play and get ready in about 1 hour. But what are the crucial elements for you, or you think it actually makes or breaks somebody's landing page in terms of the elements? What do you think should be the right approach of creating a landing page?
Okay, so number one is copy. So it's the most important thing. A lot of people focus on design. They want to come up with something that looks really great, but you have to put yourselves in your prospects shoes. They're here to look at what you have to offer, and the first thing that they're going to do is like read your copy. So when you come up, so you would have to come up with headlines and a call to action, or which is something like an irresistible offer. At the end of the day, it's your offer that sells. So focus on your copy. That's one of the key things, and come up with an irresistible offer. And then you would have to obviously build trust and break barriers. This is what I say frequently. So in the sense, these are prospects that you're driving from advertisements. They don't know about your business. So people buy from people whom they trust. So unless and otherwise, so some of the elements that help you build trust are like showcasing reviews of your product, some testimonials, again, having policies like if you're selling a product, giving a money back guarantee, or having free returns or free shipping. All those help break barriers. So that's the next thing. a most important thing. Then you obviously have to focus on your product imagery or the service, the imagery that you use on the page. In terms of design, I would suggest that people keep things very simple and clean and neat. So don't have to go for form function over form. So keep the design fairly simple and neat, and focus on the copy. So which is, and when you're talking about, when I say copy, I want to delve deep into that part where so it's not about your product. Don't focus on your product, focus on what is it going to do for your end user, because the prospect is actually keen on what is in it for him. He doesn't care about your product or your service. So don't glorify about your product or your service or about yourself. Focus on the kind of results that your prospect could get out of your product or service. And so craft specific landing pages for depending on the stage of the funnel or the buyer's journey, I would say, and tailor your messaging accordingly. So which is, if you have a bottom of the funnel customer, so you would probably talk about feature benefits more predominantly. They're more likely to buy. Whereas at the top of the funnel, you are building more about most of your page would have to focus on building trust, and also have a call to action that is probably easier for them to convert with. So let's say if you're at the top of the funnel, you would be doing something like ebooks, webinars, and so on. So which are typically free and tend to convert well. And when you're focusing on your bottom of the funnel, so which is people who are already aware of your product and have, let's say this funnel, most of you would have heard about the IDA concept. So which is, it starts with attention, then interest, desire, and action. So in that angle, so if you are focusing on somebody who already has higher awareness of your product, that's the one whom you're going to try and sell to, in which case make it like really convincing and have a great offer. So these are the elements of a really good finally, optimize for mobile. So one thing that we've seen is that nearly 80 to 90% of the audience from the Indian market access from a smartphone. So only about 10% or at the max 20%, depending on the industry, access it from a desktop. So focus on the mobile user experience.
Wow, these are some amazing points there. And the number one thing is focusing on the copy and not on the fanciness of the landing page, and also understanding the customer on which part of the funnel they are, either top of the funnel, mid funnel, or at the bottom of the funnel. And accordingly, you have to break the barriers, as Swami says, and most importantly, optimize for mobile. Now, this brings me to my next question, which is, Swami, what's the best feature or what's the best innovation that Swipe Pages has, which no other tool in the market has? Can you take us through, and if you can show an example of it?
Sure. So we focused heavily on page speed and performance. So what I would say is that some of the fastest pages on the web would actually be built on Swipe Pages. So there are two really critical key innovations that we brought into the play when it came to Swipe Pages. One, I just go ahead and share my screen.
And is it safe to say that Swipe Pages is the only one which has that feature right now?
Obviously, yeah,
Yes.
you can see that. So the reason why we named Swipe Pages is because we came up with an interface where just go ahead. Are you guys able to see my screen? So
Yes,
the
all
website.
good. Yeah, we're able to see.
Okay, so this is our mobile pages. That's something that we innovated and brought into the picture. So one thing that we noticed was that if you're on a smartphone, you're scrolling through your social media feeds, so something like Facebook or Instagram, you're scrolling endlessly, there is a ton of content out there. So how do you actually access your smartphone, which is on the go? you're probably sitting in between meetings and you're quickly taking your phone out and checking out something on your social media handle, or you're on the go, you're traveling, you're on your car. So you pick up it's not like a desktop where you sit in front of it and continuously work. A smartphone is used in chunks. So, and an user's attention span while using a smartphone is very, very limited. So in that instance, what you want to do is grab his attention in a really short span of time and convey whatever that you're offering, and within that time frame. So we thought, instead of, well, most websites and landing pages were built desktop first. So which is, you try to cram in a lot of information onto a page. So you basically built content for a desktop and then optimized it for mobile. But on the contrary, you had to, like I said, copy is the most important part of a landing page. And we wanted to come up with a mobile specific experience which felt more like native apps. And the fact that you created content specifically for a handheld device, and you're able to use these rich media with photos and imagery that otherwise uh, helps a user absorb your content faster.
Mhm.
So if a picture is worth 1,000 words, imagine what a video can do. So which is why all these videos in social media platforms, TikTok or Instagram and all those reels, which are like really taking off and becoming really popular because of the changing user behavior here. So this is exactly the reason why we brought in something called a mobile swipe pages. So these are optimized for a handheld device. And so this is something that's available only on swipe pages and nowhere else.
Wow.
That's our key innovation here.
Right.
And the next thing is AMP. Google introduced the AMP framework to when it noticed the same trend that we did. So back in 2016, um, half of all the visits were happening on a mobile device, but people were an average mobile web page took over 5 seconds to load on a 4G network, whereas most people bounced off a web page if it took more than 3 seconds to load. So this became a key concern for Google, which derives most of its income from ad clicks, right? And so they came up with this AMP framework through which what happens is it's like really stripped down version of your HTML and CSS, or the typical components that go into a web page. It's just very strict framework that has lots of rules and regulations. And the fact that by stripping out and creating all these rules, they made the page so efficient that you tapped on it and it loaded almost instantaneously. So you
Mhm.
would have actually seen these pages on Google search results, especially mobile search results, the ones which have the lightning bolt symbol next to them. So the symbol is no longer existent, but it used to have them. So you tap on them and they're loaded within a fraction of a second. So those were AMP pages. And the problem was that AMP solved the speed problem, but it was really hard for developers to make their pages work compatible with AMP. So
Mhm.
because it was like a very, very rigid framework, uh, so what we did was we helped people build landing pages typically like they would on any other platform with a completely visual tool, and have all these modules and components that you can just drag and drop and start editing your page. But then finally, when you publish it, all the magic happens. So which is, our algorithms compress the code, optimize the images, transform it into AMP. And so finally what you have is a page that you can go and take that advertise on Google and get all the benefits of AMP.
Mhm.
So
Amazing.
these are the two key innovations that we brought into the fray.
Right. So people who are watching this, to tell you more of what the platform can do. If you open a link on laptop, you have the full experience of a regular landing page. But if the same link is opened on the mobile phone, instead of swiping down, you can swipe right, and also the videos can be autoplayed. Is that right, Swami? So a product videos can, if you just swipe, the videos can be in the real size, and it can be auto played, which is great if you're from e-commerce or if you want to show the products showcase. I think it's an amazing feature. And as
Exactly.
yeah,
So I can show you some of these templates here. So yeah, are you able to see my screen?
yes,
Okay, so you have this video that keeps auto playing, and so you have these animations that you can still add to the page. These load really fast. They feel like mobile apps. So the touch experience is great. You convey information with imagery and videos on the page. And let's say you have these got something called panels. So if you ever wanted to showcase more information, you can just put it on a button which would just open in a panel. So again, works more like uh, a mobile app. And at the end of the day, you want to be able to capture leads or sell products on your landing page. So you just, the call to action is very clear, and it's always at the bottom. You tap on it, you're still able to capture leads through this page.
wow,
And what we've done is we've introduced something called as a smart page, which lets you basically create a regular version, which looks something like this, right? So a regular version which can be served on all devices, and then you can build something very specific for mobile, and then serve it only for mobile visits.
wow,
So it depends, right? So if you're running so what we've done is classified it based on the kind of campaigns that you're running. So if you're running omni-channel campaigns, so if you're having running ads on Google, Facebook, you're running on in-app ads and on Instagram and various other places, what you would have is like, you don't know, you can't predict the device from which a user might be accessing. So you want to create an experience that works across all devices. So in that case, a smart page is the best way to go about it. If you're predominantly running advertisements on social media channels where 90% of your traffic is going to come from mobile, just optimize for mobile.
mm,
And in which case, just build out a mobile slide. If you're running these Google search ad campaigns, so that's where the benefit of AMP comes in. So you can just build out an AMP page in that instance. So you get the best of all worlds, depending on the kind of campaign that you're running.
wow. Just a off-track question: does AMP pages help us get better score, reputation score for running Google ads? Uh,
Yeah.
does it
So
favor and give us a better score?
So Google kind of evaluates something called as page experience,
Hmm.
right? It's not just page speed. So when it comes to page experience, there are a lot of factors, something like core vitals, which is something that doesn't even concern marketers in the first place, which is what makes AMP complicated and hard to understand. So it basically means how well your accessibility controls are. Most people don't even bother about those things, like how it works for in smartphones that aren't really powerful, like the iPhones, or how well it works on for people who are disabled and have to use these accessibility features on a smartphone, and how well the top of the page content or the above the fold content, which is like a key part, loads, and how much resources of the phone it consumes, and so on. So at the end of the day, Google actually uh, puts a price on the page experience and not just on page speed. What AMP does is that it is optimized in a way where it gives you a great page experience out of the box. So a lot of people create landing pages by coding them. So in which case it is really difficult for developers to make all these optimizations by themselves.
Hmm.
So AMP out of the box ensures that you create a page which has a great page experience. So having said that, when it comes to swipe pages, all the performance optimizations that we do on an AMP page, we still do it on a mobile slide or a smart page. So you're kind of going to get almost the same, the benefits out of it. So otherwise, so if otherwise you were creating a page elsewhere or hand coding these pages, then there would be a significant difference between the kind of results that you may get with an AMP or a non-AMP version. But within swipe pages, any of the experiences that you create are still going to get you that benefit.
Hmm.
Uh, with the AMP page, what you get is like a fraction of an additional speed, is what I would say. Let's say your smart page loads in about 1 second. An AMP page might load in about half a second when it's actually served from Google. So if you were to click on an AMP page and a smart page from our website or on a desktop, you wouldn't see that difference. They both would load at the same time. But if it's loading from a Google search ad, what happens is Google preloads the page in the background as you are actually on the search result page. So as you tap on it, since the page is already loaded in the background, you feel like it loads in a flash.
That's amazing. Amazing. To add on to this, this is a feature that I've used personally for a workshop. I think the day Swipe Pages launched it, the next day I had my team work on the landing page. And I'll just quickly share my screen to show you that page. And it got us really great results for the workshops that we were planning out. So, we built the experience, as Swami says, for the mobile version. And you can see on the screen, instead of scrolling up, we changed the experience by swiping right, and we rolled out for doing the workshop. And trust me, this got us almost 2,800 plus participants at a cheaper price than the regular landing page. So the experience of landing page does matter on the internet, and it is your gateway between your customer and you. And if you get it right, it makes or breaks your campaigns, right? So now, Swami, my next question with from here is, what are the features that we can expect in Swipe Pages in coming days or months? Uh, and also, before we get there, if you can just share some amazing insight, which is how many landing pages are built on Swipe Pages until now, if you have those numbers on an approx.
About we are heading towards the 100,000 mark.
Wow.
So over 100,000 landing pages have been built so far. About 25,000 domains have been connected, and then what we process about 5 to 10 million visits a week.
5 to 10 million visits a week. Amazing. All right, that's awesome. Okay, Swami. Now, going back to the question, what are the new features that are we are expecting in Swipe Pages? What would be the timeline, and what can people expect out of Swipe Pages?
So in terms of our vision, what we want to do is we just started off with landing pages, but what we want to do is like build it out into a platform that will help entrepreneurs get results, get more leads and sales. So, and a single platform through which they're able to manage their whole business. So that's how we envision Swipe Pages to be. Again, when we launched Swipe Pages, some of the most frequently asked requested features were integrations with various other apps. So the fact that people were trying to send data from Swipe Pages to a CRM or an email marketing software and to various other softwares meant that they were using variety of tools. It's great for marketing agencies because they know these tools in and out, and they're serving their clients. But when it comes to entrepreneurs and small business owners who tend to run their campaigns by themselves, it means that they're learning several tools and not focusing on that business or marketing and sales, which is what is going to get them results. So in terms of features, what in the immediate term, what we're going to see is us adding something called as funnels. We're working on funnels as a functionality where you're able to create these series of connected landing pages. And because when you're running a campaign, typically you don't just create one landing page, you basically create a funnel or a series of landing pages for different customers based on their buying journey. So we're going to make it really easy for you to create these funnels. You could actually create them already by manually interconnecting all these landing pages, but we wanted to give you better analytics and data and help you create a proper sales funnel easily. So that's something that we focused on.
Can you add something more in layman terms? What would a funnel look like? So it's a page, and then there's an upsell that is happening. I mean, if there are a lot of people watching, and we would like to know in simple layman terms how it's gonna, so that we can visualize. Yeah.
Okay, so imagine you're basically selling a product, or let's say you're selling an e-commerce product. So you have a niche product, something like say a fitness supplement, or let's say you have a course, online course for digital scholar yourself. So what you do, typically you would want to build your top of the funnel. So which is, you may be attracting all the audience in by running something like a webinar, right? So that's your lead capture page. And so what you do is, that would be the starting step of your funnel. So you would run a webinar, have a page for it where you capture the lead information through them, and then subsequently send them an emailer asking them to sign up, register for the webinar. So you get their email or their phone number in exchange for them to be able to register for a webinar. So that would be like your first step or first page in the funnel. Subsequently, what you would do is, then you would drive them to a sales page. Let's say people have already participated in the webinar and they are aware about your course and what you're trying to offer. So subsequently, you would want to uh, send them to a sales page where you offer uh, you offer them the option to buy a course. So you have your marketing course in here. So what you do is, uh, you would probably have a page that's convincing enough, like all the sales elements that I talked about in terms of copy, the building trust and barriers, and so on, and then have people buy that course. So uh, what would typically happen in the background is that you send these email sequences to that audience who already participated in the webinar, because they kind of know what you're offering and they have an awareness about your product or service. Subsequently, you try to get them to the sales page, create this page where they buy this course. Let's say they bought this course, and what you would want to do is, you may not want to try to sell them uh, something of a really high value upfront or straight away. So let's say people are not ready to pay in 10,000 rupees for a course. So what you do is, like, for on a sales page, you might want to just sell them something that is easier for them to buy. So let's say you sell them something like a 5-day workshop or a 10-day workshop on your sales page. So once you've done that, what you could do is, subsequently, once they've bought it, now that they've already trusted you, they've made the payment, and they're more likely to buy from you again. So in which case, you would want to try to increase your average order value, right? So what you could do is, like, offer bonuses through order bumps. So if somebody is signing up for a course, and you say, in terms of digital marketing, and you want to make it like really easy for them to be able to get started, and you have these various books that you're offering along with the course, and you create something like an order bump, through which you can increase your average order value. So that will be like the second step of your funnel. Then subsequently, once they pay for the course, you take them to a next page, which is like the next step on the funnel, where you try to upsell to them. So you might want to sell them something like a more higher value course. So you'd say, hey, you participated in the 5-day program. If you were to join the 30-day course, here's what you'll get, and you stand to get much more benefits. And this will be like a very closed door program. You get a light access one-on-one session, and you sell a consultation or something of that sorts. So that's the upsell page. And if they don't take it, you probably want to downsell to them, which is something of a much lower order value. So in terms of a product. So basically, a funnel lets you sell stuff really quickly and effectively, but basically you create one page for each stage of the buyer's journey.
So it basically helps you sell more, and I personally cannot wait to get that feature out, because order bumps and upsells are always something that works out, and I always teach it to students as well, that always upsell, because people love to buy, they hate to be sold. So create an experience where people will want to step in, and this is one way to get closer to the higher sales than you usually get from the landing pages. Amazing.
Exactly.
Super excited for the funnels there, Swami. Anything else do we have on board?
So we also want to make it like really easy for you. Like I said, creating great copy is going to be really important from a landing page perspective. There's a lot of these AI content generator tools that are coming up based on OpenAI. So we are also planning to implement it and see if, allow you to create copy without actually writing it. Let AI generate it for you. So these headlines, sub headlines, product feature benefits, and all that, you should be able to generate them directly from within swipe pages without leaving the app. So that's something that we're looking to do. And when I said funnels, it's going to be with all these order bumps, upsells and downsells. And we also want to make it like really easy for you to do these email sequences. And if you're selling courses, and if you have like digital products, which is what a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays do, because it's easy for them to get on board and start selling. So physical products require like an inventory. You need to create that product, manufacture it, have an inventory of sorts. But digital products, you don't need any of that. You could sell any numbers that you want. So all you have to do is like craft a great funnel that sells, and then advertise advertise it to the max, as long as you're getting a really positive ROI on your campaigns. So in that sense, since people are creating these digital products, what we're seeing is that we want to be able to help coaches and consultants create these courses directly on our platform, and have a membership area from where they're able to actually deliver or have serve their audience. So build their audience on the platform, be able to charge them recurrently through subscriptions, and send out these email sequences or whatever and email campaigns, or what I'd say is omni-channel campaigns, not just emails. So you might be able to send out WhatsApp messages directly from swipe pages to all your audience. So you basically build a funnel, capture your leads and store your audience on swipe pages, then market to them there, you sell to them, you manage your orders, manage subscriptions, have your courses in one place, and have a membership area where your audience will interact with you. So we want to make it into an all-in-one platform. That's how we're envisioning it.
That is amazing, and you can actually make your own LMS here, build funnels, and it's like all in one platform. And we can't really wait to see those features out. So, Swami, we are going to open up the platform to all the participants here. If you have any questions, you guys can just wave your hand, or if you are shy, you can type in the chat. We will take some questions, after which we're going to be discussing about some amazing offer or plans that we have for you. We have Santosh Krishnan. Over to you, Santosh.
Hey, thank you, Rishi, for this wonderful, opportunity to talk directly to the founder, that is Swaminathan Ganesan. And yesterday, without any doubt, I just got the lifetime deal of $499, and I was humbly waiting. And Mr. Swami, I have one question that is all about, having a sticky menu bar, which is kind of, I really want that feature. So, are there any possibilities that where you could bring it out, or